Hey guys, just a quick note from us. We really appreciate all the support and all the well wishes we've had since we launched the Fraser Golf Institute channel. But the number one way in which you can support us is by subscribing to the channel. Like the videos, comment in the videos, let the algorithms, let YouTube know that this is a channel that you're really enjoying. Currently, about 60% of the audience, the viewers on each video are not subscribers. It would mean the world to us if you subscribed to the channel and you liked and commented in the videos. It lets people know that Fraser Golf Institute is a channel that should be viewed on YouTube. That would help us out, and we guarantee we'll bring the best content that we possibly can to you guys. Enjoy today's video. I thought it would be a great start to the podcast and to our brand new channel to maybe just sort of address the elephant in the room with why I left Club Champion. Hey guys, and welcome to our brand new podcast. Absolutely delighted to be adding this on to the YouTube content that we've already been producing over the last couple of months. We are unbelievably excited to be adding this to the content library that we have out there. You guys have been calling on it for quite some time for us to add not just visual content, but audio content for you guys when you're on the go, when you're traveling, when you're on your way to work, to bring you information and bring you more of the insights that we sort of are privy to with our position in golf. I thought it would be a great start to the podcast and to our brand new channel to maybe just sort of address the elephant in the room with why I left Club Champion. I think there's been a lot of speculation. I certainly get a lot of questions about it, whether it's privately or publicly, about why did I leave Club Champion and what was the impetus to start the Fraser Golf Institute. Obviously, not an easy decision to walk away from something that was my baby since really late 2015. I left a previous role that I had here in Canada to sort of explore the dream and passion that I had to run my own club fitting facility. Obviously, that evolved into online content in the YouTube space, which is where I'm sure you guys found us. And it was honestly the most rewarding, fulfilling journey during that time. Joining Club Champion was an incredibly difficult decision to make. It was a decision at the time that was born from many, many different factors. I think unfortunately a lot of us forget that the struggles that everyone went through during the COVID period, 2020, 2021, and even into 2022. And, that was a large part of, the sort of decision to join the Club Champion group. We at TXG were closed for 10 out of 15 months, and we were unsure really what our business would look like coming out the other side of COVID. And I was approached by Club Champion in the spring of 2021 to see whether I would be interested in joining their group and their expansion plans. And it was something born from an intrigue as to, what it would be like to join a bigger, faster moving vehicle. The vision that they had globally as they were adding in an entity in the UK and in Australia, obviously us in Canada and them in the US, to be more involved in a global sort of play when it comes to club fitting. That really intrigued me. And obviously we could have had that audience from the YouTube channel anyway. So I think all those factors at that time really contributed to joining the Club Champion group and moving forward with that decision. During the decision-making phase, one of the things that was incredibly important to me was retaining our identity, retaining our feel of what we had built at TXG. We obviously never changed the name for probably about, I think it was about 18 months, and it was still TXG. It was still known to be TXG. But over time, obviously the sort of ownership group at Club Champion started to get a stronger feel that they wanted it to become Club Champion. They wanted to integrate the US, the UK, Australia, and Canada all under one umbrella and sort of make it all part of the Club Champion identity, which in all honesty, if I was in their shoes, I would have done the exact same thing. So I actually did not put up any resistance to it becoming club champion. I felt like corporately that was going to be the right decision for them to do that. And albeit it was going to be sort of a movement away from the brand that we had built in TXG, but with a vision and a view of growing a greater, stronger collective group under the Club Champion banner. As that played out and as things evolved over the next sort of period of time, probably the next really 12 months, it became apparent for me that the things that were really, really important to me were really not going to be as important to anyone else. The freedom and flexibility to bring other entities into the channel or sort of do what we wanted to do in the club fitting bays, those decisions were not ultimately going to be mine anymore. And again, I understand that corporately, I understand that decision making and hold absolutely no grudges, no hard feelings towards anyone at Club Champion. As I say, if the roles are switched and I was in their shoes and we had acquired a smaller group, I would want them to play by the playbook that led us towards, success. At that point, Club Champion, I believe, had about 120, 125 stores. They were on a really sort of upward trajectory and making massive strides within the golf industry. And we were all up for being sort of part of that and joining that group and still controlling the quality of what we were doing under our own roof here in Canada. And that was my role as general manager of the Canadian group to oversee expansion into Calgary, Vancouver, and the 2 stores we had in the Toronto area. So that was really what sort of led me to feel like it was the right decision to join Club Champion in the first place. I think within the 2 business models between Club Champion and TXG, there was always some clear divide, if you like, in sort of the vision in terms of the technology that we would use. We were always very much proponents of, at that time, using GC Quad, obviously Club Champion, using TrackMan. They were using Sam Putt Lab in their putting shooter. We were using Quintic. So no matter how much you try to knit the 2 brands together, they were always going to be separated by the sort of opinion of the leadership group, me in the Canadian market, and obviously the choices I had made, and the group in the US and the choices that they had made, albeit those choices being made at completely different times. I think when the original Club Champion group started their journey out, I believe it was around 2012, really at the time, Foresight was not the launch monitor that it is nowadays. TrackMan was the absolute choice that people, should make at that time. And even Quintic, I don't even know if that was around back then. So, it was never a blame thing or sort of like a finger pointing that they do it wrong and we do it right. It was just at that time they made the right decision for their business, as did we in 2016, late 2016, 2017 when we started TXG. So for me, the time to move on from Club Champion and go back to doing my own thing, about midway through last year, I really started to sort of feel within myself that I had a yearning to get back to producing that type of content and maybe not be solely focused just on equipment. Obviously, that's our core competency, and that's what people know me for is sort of club fitting and sort of analysis on golf equipment. But maybe what people don't realize for me is the journey actually started as a golf professional. It actually started more on the instructional side of things. I was a Class A pro back in the UK, got my Class A qualification in the early 2000s, and golf instruction was really the thing that came first to me professionally. So I've always been really, really curious about the golf swing. As a player, I was always seeking out different instructors. Who were the best instructors? Old school methods, new school technology, new school kind of thought process. All of it fascinated me. I kind of think of myself as somebody who's, maybe it's a general term too much overused, but historian. But like, I really loved how the old school coaches would do it. How they would get the performance out of their players without TrackMan, without Foresight, without gears, any of this modern technology that we have. But they were always great communicators. They were always great at getting their message across to their players. And that always fascinated me. So I think getting back to the core of what got me into golf and what got me excited about golf, I felt like leaving and creating my own platform was going to give me that freedom and flexibility once again, and really sort of fill up my enthusiasm for ultimately delivering content to you guys. So moving on to the Fraser Golf Institute and where we are today, we're actually in here filming content for the brand new channel today, and it's been a breath of fresh air. It really has. I think coming at sort of golf improvement, golf performance from a holistic standpoint, building upon the 6 pillars of performance. We had such great conversations as we were building the brand and sort of coming up with the concept of what this new platform would look like. And every meeting we had, every time we talked about the evolution of the new platform, we didn't even really have the name for it at that point. It began to sort of take form. There was a skeleton of an idea, and the fleshing out of the platform was what got us, all really, really excited, from the marketing group that we use at Sway, from Cody and Casey and myself, and talking about, okay, what is it that we're going to do on filming days? What is the type of content that we think will ultimately get you guys really, really excited? And that's sort of where the Fraser Golf Institute was born. Lots of people asked me, what's the logo about? And I think that's an important one to talk about. We really had this idea that any solid foundation is built on multiple pillars. That's a golf game, that's a house, that's a, whatever that may be. And in this sort of, Parthenon approach that, we want to build a golf game under as many solid pillars as we can. And that's where we came up with the 6-pillared approach to the Fraser Golf Institute. So whether we're talking about biomechanics, whether we're talking about practice, strategy, we're talking about technology, we're talking about lifestyle, health, wellness, we're really talking about everything that a player needs to apply to make themselves the best golfer that they can be. And we knew that would never stagnate. There was always the ability to, if we feel we're doing too much instructional stuff, we'll go and do some lifestyle and wellness. We'll do some practice. We'll do some on-course. We'll do some mental preparation. What stops, people self-sabotaging when they have a good round going? What helps people turn around a bad round? That's between your ears. So, that's ultimately what got us excited about building this education and entertainment platform, and really sort of gave us that pep in our step back. So as I mentioned before, golf instruction came first to me before any love for golf equipment. I think my love for golf equipment and club fitting was born from actually trying to play the game at a decent level. One thing, maybe people don't know the origin story of a lot of this stuff with me. I've never really talked about it that much, but I fell in love with golf equipment purely out of a need to be the best player that I could possibly be. I was influenced by a few different people who would sort of explain to me the difference in that time, the early 2000s, when we had the early days of the aftermarket shafts, and people would say, why don't you try this shaft? And this one has a slightly softer tip or a different kick point. And this was all foreign language and verbiage to me. And it got me really, really curious as to how much can you really influence someone's performance with their equipment. So I was trying to be a player, the best player I could be in my early 20s. I hadn't really played that much golf growing up, to be honest. I took up the game when I was probably 15, 16 years old. I turned pro when I was 18 years old. So, I didn't really have any amateur experience really whatsoever. And I was into the professional PGA program in the UK. So I was just trying to be the best player I could be. And during the sort of PGA training program, at that time, no one was really able to teach you anything about club fitting. It was much more about instruction. The people who funnel through those PGA programs, very, very few, I'd say less than a few percent, ever go into the club fitting world. You're more likely to be a head pro, a general manager, a director of golf, a lead instructor somewhere, or an associate pro, whatever you may be. But very few get led into the club fitting world. So I was really trained as a instructor, as a swing instructor. So as my love for golf equipment, and I really saw the value in golf equipment and club fitting, as that grew, my passion grew to integrate those two worlds. I was really influenced by a great friend of mine, Andrew Rice, who explained to me that every good club fitter should also wear a sort of partial golf instructor hat and a majority club fitter hat. You should understand from a standpoint that you should know what's going on with the swing, but you should be trying to use the golf equipment and the club fitting session to obviously impact the performance for the player. And every instructor should do the opposite. They should be trying to improve the swing and the biomechanics and improve the fundamentals of the golf swing, but at the same time understand the impact and influence that the golf clubs are having within that world. So that sort of 75-25 rule of thumb has always really stuck with me. And I think that's one of the strengths that I have as a club fitter within my world. And you guys will have seen it in the many club fitting sessions I've done on the previous channel, is that if a club fitting session was going wrong, I could sort of step in, interject and go, okay, let's just turn this around a little bit. We can't do what we're trying to do because the swing is doing X. This is what's going to allow us to do what we need to do in the club fitting session. That was a passion of mine, and being able to sort of dip in and out of those two worlds was something that I always really enjoyed doing. So expanding on the Fraser Golf Institute and really what it is, that the value that we sort of strive to offer to you guys is joining the dots and sort of connecting the parts of what it is that's ultimately going to make someone a complete golfer. And that doesn't mean that every golfer is going to apply these things and become a professional golfer or a scratch golfer. You can do the best that you can be, and we just think you'll get closer to reaching your full potential if you do the things that we believe are correct under the pillars within the Fraser Golf Institute, because it's never going to be one thing that helps any one golfer get better. You guys will have heard me say this probably many times, and it was always my club fitting philosophy, that the aggregation of marginal gains, right? You never go to one place to really find 10 or 15% performance, but I can take you to 10 places and give you 1% in performance. And that's where the stacking of skills, the stacking of spending your time doing sort of things to improve your game, that's where improvement is going to lie. And I really think under the banner here at FGI, we'll be able to help you guys with that. We'll be able to tell you the things that in the fitness, lifestyle, and wellness world that are really going to sort of help you guys, whether it's before you play, whether it's preparing yourself to sort of go through a swing change with your coach. Whether you're just stuck, you just cannot seem to be making any progress within this game. We're going to give you solutions. We're going to give you some knowledge. We're hopefully going to give you some examples. We'll hopefully be bringing people on and showcasing their journey. That's something I'm really, really excited about. Bringing people onto the channel to show you real world examples of applying the principles. The pillars of the sort of Fraser Golf Institute is going to be a really, really big one. And we'll continuously do that. So as many of you will be asking, what's next for the Fraser Golf Institute? What's next for the channel? What's next for the podcast? It's really going to be building upon the start we've made. We really appreciate all the support from you guys and everyone who's migrated over from the old channel to this channel. It really does mean the world to us. Familiar faces, the community spirit that we have built, that's what we want to continue on. That's what really kind of means something to me, and it's what I've enjoyed the most about the journey of building an online community. I had no idea that the original TXG channel would grow to be the size that it was, and opened my eyes to the possibility of connecting with people all around the world. And I'm really excited, by that. I think the content that we bring will always add value. We're really sort of just dipping our toe in the water with regards to what it is that you guys will see. We're going to be collaborating with other channels, with other people, with other professional golfers all around the world, and really leaning on them, people that have walked the path of becoming a really, really impressive, skillful golfer. We want to pass on those sort of nuggets of knowledge to you guys as well. Hopefully you'll see some familiar faces on the channel, some people that you guys know and love. I think, obviously lots of people are asking, is Mikey going to be part of the Fraser Golf Institute? And one thing that I'm really passionate about in life is let people make their own decisions. Let people walk their own path. Mikey will decide for himself what he wants to do. I knew when I left Club Champion it was because of a feeling that I had inside of me. He has to have a feeling inside of him of what's going to drive him. I'm sitting in front of you guys, I'm whether I'm on camera, whether I'm in your ears, whatever it is, talking to you passionately about what gets me up in the morning and gets me, gives me that buzz to go to work every single day. Mikey needs to find that out for himself. He doesn't need to hear from me what I think he should do. So I think it's important that, he has time to realize that. He's been on that 10-year journey with me from working together as a young 18-year-old. He was a rookie. Wasn't even a club fitter, to be honest. I think we hired him as like build shop help back in like 2014. He just knew he loved golf and he was just passionate about it. So, he's been on a 10-year journey, a roller coaster journey, and he's been right by my side the whole way through the whole thing, ups and downs and highs and lows for both of us. But the one thing I'll say is we done it together. Mike and I have been tethered together for, as I say, 10 years and beyond. Maybe some people don't realize the close connection and relationship we have. He was the best man at my wedding. We've cried over this thing. We've laughed endless tears over this thing. So I want to personally give him space to find out what's meaningful for him and what's going to fuel his fire in the next phase of his life. He means that much to me that I just want him to be happy, whatever that may be. And it's not for me to tell him, what that needs to look like. So, hopefully everyone else respects that as well. I love that people love us as a duo. That's where I feel like, he and I are best when we're kind of working together. But, time will tell if that's what it ends up being. It may be, it may not be. I hope that it is. But as I say, time will tell, and we've got to let him sort of come to that conclusion himself. I'm telling you from the heart what caused me to make the decision to leave Club Champion and sort of go back on this journey of whether you want to call it entrepreneurship, whether you want to call it sort of like a mission to go back to speaking to a wider audience through the vehicle that is our new channel. But this is coming from the heart as to what led me to this decision. It was definitely not a decision I took lightly. I stepped away or stepped back and, looked at what we had built at TXG. And we weren't the biggest club fitting company in the world by any means, but we had built a reputation and a standard. We were very much some people's entrance into what club fitting was or what golf equipment could do. And I felt that responsibility and that burden, and walking away from that in the community that we had built was a really, really difficult decision. Not to mention the people that worked for us and really believed since day one that TXG was about something. It was built for, for something greater than just a business. And, walking away from that was the hardest bit, I'm not going to lie. One thing I will say, guys, and this is important to me, and whether you do it or not, listen, you make your own decisions. But Club Champion are obviously going to embark on trying to take the baton and carry on the YouTube channel and try to make that something that works for them and their brand. They're doing their best to put their best foot forward and produce the best content that they can. One thing I can trust you is if you want to go back to, I believe it was December 17th, 2017. I think that was the date we launched the original TXG channel. Watch how bad those videos were. We sucked back then. We were uncomfortable on camera. We were the whole thing was just amateur, but we got better. And I really hope that those guys, get that same opportunity for them to get better, for them to get comfortable. And you just never know how that channel will evolve. So cut them some slack and, just let them be. If you don't like it, that's the beauty of YouTube. That's the beauty of the online world. Go somewhere else and get it. Go into some, another channel and maybe give someone else a chance to be the voice in your ear and hear some other opinions. But try not to, as I say, take it out on them. It's nobody's fault. That certainly not the on-camera personalities anyway. The online community could be more kind and, they're trying their best and let them find their own feet. So we'll continue over here doing our thing and we will make it the absolute best. That's all we can do. We can only control what we can control. And again, that's why we're on this mission. That's why we're free and solo once again, because we want to be able to live and die by the decisions we make, by the quality of the content we make. And if it doesn't grow the biggest audience in the world, but the people inside the community love it, that's going to be enough for me. That's going to be fulfilling for me. I just want people to enjoy the content that we bring, feel like we're bringing value all the time, and ultimately, be somewhere where you feel like you can sort of go to hear things about your game that'll improve it. Okay, so it's time to move on. We are going to be embarking on this journey that's going to take us all over the world. It's going to take us to many different places. And to be honest, we don't even know what that's going to look like yet. These opportunities in being open and being sort of free again, as I say, is going to unlock untold opportunities for us and what we can deliver through this channel. So please, if you're hearing this for the first time and maybe somebody's passed this to you, or maybe you have followed since day one, and we appreciate that, and you feel like, you know what, my golf buddies could benefit from hearing what these guys have to say and be entertained by what these guys are up to, please share it with your friends. Consider yourself the founder members. Consider yourself part of it from the sort of day one brigade on the ground level. I've heard so many people, leave kind messages when we left Club Champion that, I was one of the first 1,000 subscribers to the channel. I was a member of the YouTube channel. And that's a real badge of honor for them. And hopefully the audience that are listening and watching this can feel the same way. Let's build this channel together. Let's make it a movement that grows. Let's take it on a journey all over the world, because ultimately the bigger it becomes, the better it becomes, the more it's going to benefit you guys, and the more we're going to be able to do with it. The opportunities that come to us are born from audience engagement. Companies, manufacturers seeing that, okay, over in Fraser Golf Institute, they really seem to have an engaged group of viewers and an audience, and that's what's going to allow us to do more for you guys. So we couldn't be more excited. You're going to meet the people behind the camera. You're obviously, my ugly mug by now, but you're going to sort of feel that this is a community. You're going to be part of something during this movement. So we'd love you to share it with friends. We are going to move on now into sort of the next episodes of the podcast and the next episodes on the channel, but we could not appreciate your support and well wishes any more than we currently do. Stick with us. It'll be worth the ride.